Sorry about the noise.
I was gonna call the cops.
I wish you would.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us on Film Fiend today.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
I have to tell you first off, I saw the movie last week. By far the best film I've seen this year.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
It was absolutely terrific. I'm also a huge House and How I Met Your Mother fan, so forgive me if I geek out on you.
That's all good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. My first question is, one of the things I really liked about the film was you aren't playing the typical supportive but silent wife role.
Right.
You have a real character with real motivations.
Yeah.
How did you and the director, Gavin O'Connor, work to make sure she didn't fall into that stereotype?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations about that. And it was the starts of it were obviously already on the page. I mean, the script was incredible to begin with. But we spent about a week with Joel Edgerton, who plays my husband in the movie, and Gavin and Anthony Timbakis, who was one of the writers, that we just spent a week in a room together going through every detail of this marriage. I mean, we talked about how they met, what were their ups, their downs, their good, their bad, what were their buttons that get pushed, what were the things that turned them on, what was the first time they kissed. So we literally just hashed through it. And what were their financial problems? How did they get to this situation? How did they choose the job that they were choosing to do to try to make ends meet? And by the time we were actually shooting, we had just gone through so much material, and we had built this history of this marriage together in a way where by the time Joel and I were on set, we could just sort of let go and enjoy it and live it. And it was just so great to have Gavin guiding that and fostering the idea of all that detail and all that history, so that hopefully people will feel that history between Joel and me when they're actually watching the film.
It absolutely did come across that you can believe these people have been together for 14 years since high school.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
One thing I also enjoyed about the film is that Gavin O'Connor never sacrificed character for the story. It's heavy on both. So how did he balance the action with your work as an actor?
Yeah, Gavin is an artist in that way. He really is. He's so passionate about these people and so passionate about making sure that they were genuine and authentic and relevant to what was going on in the country and in the world right now in terms of some of the financial stuff. And, I think he certainly draws on some life experience with some of the family stuff that's going on. I mean, I don't really know the details of his personal past, but he certainly seems fascinated with the father-son dynamic and what's going on there. And, it was just, to him, it was so effortless to balance the two. And I think we were just lucky to be able to fall within that and just really focus on doing our jobs as actors and letting him sort of guide and mold and shape the balance of those two things.
Terrific. And it came through very, very well in the final product. For you as an actor, what was the most difficult scene for you to film?
I'm not sure. I mean, I felt like this whole movie felt, it was intense, but in some ways felt easy just because I felt so supported and so surrounded by passion and creativity the whole time that there was never a moment where I was like, oh, wow, this is just, I don't really know what to do here. This is really tough. I would say that some of the hardest stuff just technically was in the fight sequences where I was responding, because there were times where there were people in the ring, and they did a great job of trying to keep someone in the ring and actually do the fight for me to actually react to and have my responses to. But there were times where I was literally staring at nothing, and having to have these incredibly emotional reactions just based on remembering in my mind what it was that these guys were going through in the ring. And, just sometimes technically it's harder to put yourself there if you're not actually looking at it. So I guess if I had to say something, I'd say that. But even that, like I said, they really did try to keep someone in the ring and try to keep as much as possible in front of me to give me something to react to.
Great. Last question. If you weren't watching Warrior right now, what would you be watching? What's a movie you can watch over and over again?
Oh, one of my favorite films is the French film Breathless. I'd say Breathless and not Starsky and Hutch. God, why can I not think of it right now? Sundance Kid. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Those two films are films that I've probably watched 50, 60 times each. I mean, they're just movies that are my staples, my go-to movies when I want something great to watch. And I recently just rewatched Breaking the Waves, which is intense and heartbreaking, but man, some powerhouse performances. So I could probably go on and on for a long time about movies that I love, but I'll leave it at that.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Again, the movie is terrific, and good luck with everything, and thank you for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
He's a good guy. You know, he walked into my shop here about 5 or 6 years ago, right out of the blue, asking for a job. So I put him to the test, see what he could do. Kid's amazing. So I hire him on the spot. Boom. At about half the wages I normally pay. He didn't blink an eye. Hey, kid, come over here for a second, will you? And I have been exploiting him ever since. Shh, don't tell him. Look, looks like we have a bigger problem than I thought. We're gonna have to keep the car here for a few days. So I offered your services to take Benicio and Irene home. That be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't have wheels for my car.
Okay.
It's one thing you should know about me.
We'll put the tires on.
You got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to see something?